as we're doing this podcast, we've got to talk about the strategy, the tips and strategies and tricks of the game. And so I want to talk about an article I found on the internet about the top 5 riskiest drop locations on Free Fire's Bermuda map in last year. And so I want to break this down and talk about some of these locations, and maybe you guys can pitch in why you think these might be risky locations or not. We don't have to agree. But number 1 is on this article is Clock Tower. They say it's a very risky location to land. It's on the western side of the map. There's really there's some other locations around it, but the traffic level in this location is quite high. And especially if you're trying to push rank, this is not a recommended location. Why do you think, Flame Carver? I know you have done a training series on your YouTube about different locations, and Clock Tower has been one of them. Why particularly do you think maybe that Clock Tower is on this list of risky locations?
Clock Tower is usually the plane comes right over Clock Tower, and it's got a bunch of loot, different levels. You can just drop there with your squad. You can all get some great loot, and it's a good position where it's usually it's closer into the map, not right on the edge, so you can usually get to the next circle pretty quickly. It's a good just place to drop, and if you can survive there with your team, you have a good chance of rotating quite easily.
Great. Yeah, I think I would agree with that. And I don't know if I agree with this next one. We'll see what you think, Trash Man, because I know we've landed here before. The next one, number 2 on this list, is Peak. It says that, because it's in the middle of the map, it's a risky location. There's 2 or 3 compounds up there. There's with a decent amount of loot. It's an elevated location. And because really, I think they rank it this way because it's in the center of the map. Mm-hmm. And that way you get in early fights and really all the fights come there. What do you think? I have a differing opinion. I think that Peak's a great place, and I'll explain that. But what do you think about that, Trash Man?
As far as staying away from it, it's 50-50. Like we're talking early game, dropping in straight to Peak. It's kind of a hit or miss place. You get great loot there. The elevation's nice, but the circle could push you off of it, and you could drop there with a very strong team looking to wipe.
That would make sense. For me, when we have broadcast tournaments, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong on this, Trash Man and Flame Carver, a lot of people just don't land in Peak because they're playing to win, and so they think maybe it's because it's so risky to land there. Maybe that actually makes me agree, but it's usually a good location to land to get loot and get out of because no one else wants to land there, and so I don't think it's as risky as maybe at number 2. But you guys agree it's a number 2 level, or do you think it'd be higher or low on your list of risky locations?
I think that's definitely lower on my list.
Probably higher on mine. Just because I would have put it over Clock Tower personally.
Really? Okay, that's good. Next one here is one that I don't even know if Berserker even knows where this is, familiarity with the map, because this is one of the weirdest names in the map, but it's Bimasakti Strip. It features 2 compounds. It's got a strip of road. You've been there? I didn't know.
Next to Peak and Plantation?
See. All right. So you're Googling, I bet. So both of these have like level 3 gear often. And, the problem with this, I think this is maybe even more risky than Peak. And so I would challenge you on this one, Berserker. This is in the valley between really 2 hot drop locations. And you can just get peppered with shots. Have you ever had that, risk of situation where you're just up, getting hit from all sides?
Yeah, definitely. I've had that a lot, especially when I was new to the game and I didn't know. I like hot drops when I start a new game. So in Free Fire, like that was a place. Plantation was a place I would go. But a lot of times when I'm starting, I want to figure out where the hot drops are. So definitely that looks like a place I probably have been stuck before and killed at. So playing Battle Royale. I've started going more to like Cape Town because it's on like the fringe, because it's a lot easier and you can loot a lot more in Cape Town than you can you have to worry about everything in Peak. So I like to go to the fringe of the map now, but that's just me.
Yeah. That's the fringe of the map is usually good for new players for sure. Number 4 here is Mars Electric. Mars Electric is on the fringe of the map. It's kind of on that southern edge. It's a very large area with a lot of openness. In the recent update, they put some more barricades in and crates to kind of break down that openness, what I think was a good addition to this game for sure, to make this a much more playable location. It's not always as crowded, but I find, and I think I agree with this, a lot of the people that will land at Mars Electric are your better players who are landing there knowing they can get good loot and they can get an easy team wipe or two from new players. What do you guys think about that, Trash Man?
I didn't know this one was on the list, so I changed my opinion. Any tournament I've ever played in, I've thought I'll drop Mars Electric because nobody ever goes to Mars Electric. And the next thing I know, I am trying to roll to the right or the left to get out of that place, and it never works out for me.
Right. You can't get up those big hills.
It's great loot. It honestly is great loot, but they just sit up there in factory and pick you off or sit at the bridge and wait for you to cross.
Yeah. And that zip line is the worst one, right? Trying to get that zip line and getting shot before you can get across. Yeah, I hate that. And number 5 here, and we'll see what you think about this one, Flame Carver and Berserker. It's Mill. I think the Mill is hot. Everybody just loves to go to the Mill. I think it's because it's just so compact. There's a ton of loot in a very compact, tight area. People are familiar with this one in Clash Squad. And so you're kind of right up against the northeastern edge. There's nowhere really to run away. You've got to go all the way through the map down that giant hill. And so I think it's very risky for beginning players to land at Mill. And I do think you're going to find the best here. I would put this higher than 5th on this list. But what do you guys think, Flame Carver?
I would agree. Mill is a very hot drop. I think one of the reasons because Mill is like the biggest area on that little spot on the map. There's not a lot of big towns around Mill, and then Mill is just in a great location where you can kind of get there. And if you can control Mill, you might have a few guys coming over the hill, but like for the most part, you can own Mill after the first few minutes of the game.
I would agree. I'd agree with that. Trash Man, what do you think on that one?
For Mill, I've not really ever dropped Mill. I don't know if that's just by chance, so I can't really give a good input on that one.
Okay, Berserker, what do you think about these 5? What do you think about Mill and these other 5?
Well, I would say I would agree with Mill because every time I drop Riverside, I get pushed from Mill. Like, because I think people get there quick and then they push depending on where the circle's going. But like, I have been pushed from Mill quite a bit when I've dropped Riverside or when I drop close to Plantation, like, or if I'm on the bridge there, like. So I would just say, like, yeah, I could see that. I could see Mill being a little bit higher on that list, but once again, I'm a noob. So
yeah, no, I don't land at Mill if you're new. It's dangerous. Just trust me. And so those are the 5. I agree with those are some 5 tough locations. I don't know that I would put I probably would put Mars Electric down at 5th. I don't know that Bimasakti would have been such a risky location for me. I think that I would have said maybe a different location than Bimasakti. Maybe Pachinak would have made my list. I would have had pretty much all the rest of them on the list of some way. I do like the land Observatory, even though I think good teams land there, but I just think there's so much cover there. You can get in and out of Observatory without too much damage. So I can understand why that's not on the list.